வரணுமா இல்லை ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் உட்காந்தா போதுமா?
ஐயாக்கு டைம் போலாம்.
University. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the Mahakavi Bharathiyar birthday and Indian Languages Day celebration 2025. Let's begin this program with Mahakavi Bharathiyar. I request you all for Mahakavi Bharathiyar. Chairperson, Special Center for Tamil Studies, to deliver welcome address.
நம்முடைய பாரத பிரதமர் அவர்களுடைய முன்னெடுப்பால் காசி தமிழ்ச்சங்கம் தொடர்ந்து 4வது ஆண்டாக நிகழ்கின்றது. முதல் ஆண்டில் பிரதமர் அவர்கள் தமிழ் மொழியையும் தமிழ் கலாச்சாரத்தையும் கற்பது வட இந்தியர் கற்பது கட்டாயம் என்று தெரிவித்தார்கள். இந்த முறை புதிதாக ஒரு செய்தியை அறிமுகம் செய்திருக்கின்றார்கள். வட மாநிலத்தைச் சேர்ந்தவர்களுக்கு தமிழ் கற்பித்தல் என்ற ஒரு திட்டத்தை பிரதமர் இந்த தமிழ்ச்சங்கத்தில் தொடங்கியிருக்கின்றார். 100க்கும் மேற்பட்டவர்களுக்கு பயிற்சி அளிக்கின்றார்கள். அந்த பயிற்சி அளித்தவர்கள் எல்லாம் இங்கு வந்து தமிழ் கற்பிப்பதற்கு வருகின்றார்கள். மிகச்சிறந்த ஒரு முன்னேற்றத்தை நோக்கி செல்வதாக அந்த பயணம் அமைகின்றது. அதை ஒட்டி உருவாக்கப்பட்டதுதான் மகாகவி பாரதியாருடைய பிறந்த நாளை இந்திய மொழிகள் நாளாக கொண்டாடுவது என்பது. அவ்வகையில் நாம் தொடர்ந்து நம்முடைய மாண்புமிகு துணைவேந்தர்களுடைய வழிகாட்டுதல் வழியாக மேற்கொண்டு வருகின்றோம். நண்பர்களே, உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும், இது வந்து ஒரு புதிய துறை, உருவாவது எளிதல்ல. அதில் அம்மாவுடைய பங்கு என்னென்று எல்லாருக்கும் நல்லா தெரியும். நான் பலமுறை சொல்லியிருக்கிறேன், இது 4வது நிறுவனத்தில் நான் வேலை பார்த்தேன், பல்கலைக்கழகத்தில், அரசு பல்கலைக்கழகத்தில். இந்த மைக் செட் இப்போ வாங்கியிருக்கணும் தமிழ்துறைக்கு. எனக்கு தெரியும், ஒரு ஸ்பூன் ஒரு அரசு நிறுவனத்தில் வாங்குறதுனாலும் என்ன பிரச்சனை இருக்குன்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். துணைவேந்தர் இப்படி பார்த்தா அதுக்கு ஒரு பொருள் இருக்கும், இப்படி பார்த்தா ஒரு பொருள் இருக்கும், இப்படி பார்த்தா ஒரு பொருள் இருக்கும். எத்தனையோ துணைவேந்தர் நான் பார்த்துட்டு வந்துட்டேன். அந்த அடிப்படையில் சொல்றேன். ஏன் நான் சொல்றேன்டா, நான் இவ்வளோ பாராட்டி சொல்லி புகழ்ந்து சொல்லி எனக்கு அப்படிலாம் ஒன்றும் தேவையில்லை. அவங்களுக்கு கவலைப்பட மாட்டாங்க. மனப்பூர்வமா சொல்றேன், நெஞ்சத்திலிருந்து சொல்றேன். தமிழ் பல்கலைக்கழகத்தின் நிர்வாகத்தில் இருந்தவன், அழகப்பா பல்கலைக்கழகத்தில் இருந்தவன், பாரதிதாசன் பல்கலைக்கழகத்தில் இருந்தவன், திருச்சி பிஷப் ஈவர் கல்லூரியில் இருந்தவன், புதுக்கோட்டை ஜெயஜெயகுரு, எல்லா இடங்களிலும் நிர்வாகத்தில் இருந்துதான் சொல்றேன். எளிது அல்ல, எனக்கு தெரியும். இங்க இருக்கிற டிஆரோ ஏஆரோ ரெஜிஸ்ட்ராரோ எல்லாரும் நமக்கு ஒத்துழைக்கிறாங்கன்னா என்ன அவங்க மைண்ட் செட்ல என்ன இருக்குன்னு எனக்கு நல்லாவே தெரியும். அந்த வகையில இந்த துறை உருவாவதற்கு காரணம் அம்மா. இன்னும் இதை வளப்படுத்துகின்றோம். ஒரு செய்தி, மேலும் பாரதியாருடைய பாடலை இங்க ஒளிபரப்பிருக்கிறாங்க. அந்த பாடலை கேட்கும் போது ஒவ்வொரு கருத்துக்கும் ஒரு உருவத்தை நீங்க வரைந்து கொள்ளுங்க. கடைசியா அப்படி நினைத்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா உங்க கண் முன்னால நம்முடைய துணைவேந்தர் தெரியும். இது புகழ்ச்சிக்காக அல்ல, நீங்க கேட்டப்போ தெரியும். 2, மனித உரிமைகளுடைய ஆணையத்திற்கு யார் வேணாலும் தலைவராக வரலாம். ஆனா என்னுடைய பார்வையில சட்ட நுணுக்கம் தெரிந்தவர்கள் மட்டும் அதற்கு வரக்கூடாது. அழுத்தமான இலக்கிய பின்புலம் இருப்பவர்கள் வர வேண்டும். 2ம் சேர்ந்தவர்கள் தான் வருவது உச்சம். அந்த பணியை நம்முடைய மத்திய அரசு இப்போது செய்கிறது. மிகச்சிறந்த ஒரு எழுத்தாளர், திருக்குறள், கம்பராமாயணம், பாரதியார் இவற்றில் மிக ஆழ்ந்த புலமை வாய்ந்தவர். நன்கு எடுத்து சொல்லுகின்ற, இருமொழியில் எடுத்து சொல்லுகின்ற திறன் வாய்ந்தவர். ஐயா இங்கு பங்கேற்று நமக்கு சிறப்புரை வழங்குவது மிகுந்த மகிழ்ச்சிக்குரியது. அதே போன்று சுமார் 12 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு மேலாக சகோதரி பேராசிரியர் சோபா அவர்களை நன்கு அறிவேன். பிறப்புக்கும் எல்லா உயிர்க்கும் என்பதற்கு இலக்கணமாக வாழ்கின்ற ஒரு சிலர் ஒருத்தர் சோபா. இவர்கள் எல்லாம் பங்கேற்று இருப்பது மிகுந்த மகிழ்ச்சிக்குரியது. மூத்த பேராசிரியர்கள் பலர் வரை இருந்திருக்கின்றார்கள். அனைவருடைய ஒத்துழைப்போடு இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி நிகழ்கின்றது. அனைவரையும் துறை சார்ந்து வரவேற்பதில் பெரிதும் மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகின்றேன். இறுதியாக இன்றைய சிறப்பு விருந்தினர் ஒரு கருத்தை பதிவிட்டிருந்தால் அதை நினைவு கூர்ந்து விட்டு விடைபெறுகிறேன். நாம் ஒரு கருத்தை சொல்லும் போது அது ஒருவருக்கு கருத்து சுதந்திரமாக இருக்கின்றது, மற்றொருவரை காயப்படுத்துகிறது. நாம் எப்படி சொல்ல வேண்டும் என்பதை இதிலிருந்து கற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்று சொன்னார். அதுதான் பாரதி. அந்த பாரதியினுடைய வாழ்க்கை வரலாற்றை நன்கு கற்றவர்கள் தான் இன்றைய சிறப்பு விருந்தினர்கள் மூவரும். அனைவர் சார்பாகவும் அவர்களை வரவேற்று விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Thank you, sir. I cordially welcome our delegates, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Shanti Sri Pandit Ma'am, Honorable D. Ramasubramanian sir, and Professor Shobha Shivamchandran Ma'am, to the dais to pay floral tributes to Bharati. It's time to felicitate our delegates. I would like to invite our Vice Chancellor. our senior research scholar, E.S. Ajay Sundar, to felicitate our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Shanti. I would like to invite our research scholar, A. Prabhu, to felicitate Professor Shobha Shivashankaran ma'am, Dean, School of Languages, Literature and Culture. Thank you. Now, I would like to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Santisti Pandit, to deliver a presidential address.
எல்லாருக்கும் காலை வணக்கம். Respected Honorable Justice V. Subramanian, Chairperson, National Human Rights Commission of India and former Judge of the Supreme Court of India, respected Professor Shobha Shivashankaran, my colleague and Dean of the School of Language, Literature and Culture Studies, Professor R. Damodaran, who has been the chairperson and who has been part of our team in bringing about the Special Center for Tamil Studies, and Dr. M. Chandrasekharan, who is an assistant professor in the department, faculty, and dear students. We are here today to celebrate Indian Languages Day, and I am very happy that Mahakavi Bharathiyar's birthday is being celebrated for the Indian Languages Day. And as most of you know, that Mahakavi Bharathiyar is one of the great national poets. There are two reasons why I like him very much. One is he has always been vocal against the caste system. And second, he has supported women, where I think very few really supported women. So it's very important that all over India and all over the world, such figures need to be celebrated. And as most of you know, he died very young. And he died in great poverty. I think it is only after his death that his writings have come into being, and most of you know how it came. He is also a great anti-caste figure, because in today's India and with Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar's constitution, he becomes even more relevant to us when we think of a casteless society or the annihilation of caste. And here I think his contribution to the expansion of the Tamil language is one of the oldest languages in the world, and a civilization of which all of us are a part. And also I would like here to mention his, support for women's liberation. All of you know he said women's power lies in her willpower. Society will prosper if we realize the power of women and treat them as fellow human beings and give them equal rights. Where women are treated with due respect, society thrives. All of you know even today we have a very unequal society, and still this is a very, very far cry. I think Justice Ramasubramanian will talk to you better on his contribution than me, and I'm very happy that the Tamil Center is celebrating Indian Languages Day, because Indian literature is one, though written in different languages. So it is very important that really we follow the three-language formula. And I am happy that people of the northern states have decided to learn one South Indian or non-Hindi belt languages, because this is a long, request of the three-language formula. Otherwise it will be very difficult, because we are today dividing ourselves on linguistic identities, which is very, very a sad state of affairs for a great civilization that celebrates diversity. Honorable Justice V. Ramasubramanian is an old friend of mine. I don't know whether most of you know. I know him since his college days. He was a very young, handsome, very erudite law student. And we used to meet at the Toastmasters Club, where Major Vedantam was one of the major. At the time we didn't know the importance. He was very eloquent speaker even then. And that is why I used to admire his speeches, and later when I met him here, he recognized better than me. So you can see the judge's memory. So be careful. He's a very good judge. I will not go, and let me tell you, he greatly helped me even after I came to JNU, especially with our electoral issues, and he did it free of service. So I thank him, sir, for the friendship and for this. And today he is heading the Human Rights Commission, which is a very important commission for all of us, because all of us are today, human rights become he's also a very good writer and an excellent speaker and very witty. Let me tell you, very few judges have sense of wit, and he has very good wit, and that is very good. So I welcome you to Jawaharlal Nehru University. Once again, we are so happy that we can welcome you, because this is the university where we believe in certain values, which I think is enshrined in the Constitution as well, of equality, equity with excellence and entrepreneurship, and integrity with inclusion and innovation and imagination. So our students are very imaginative, they are very good, and let me tell you, we are one of the most nationalistic universities. Only if the leadership is all right, things get all right. So I'm very happy that we are celebrating Subramanya Bharathi today, and Subramanya Bharathi stood for national integration, celebration of diversity, dissent, as well as democracy. So once again, welcome to JNU, sir. We are so happy to have you. Thank you. Ellarkum vanakkam, nandri.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to invite Professor Shobha Sivasankaran, Dean, School of Languages, Literature and Cultural Studies, JNU, to deliver a felicitation address.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Shantishri Dilipini Pandit, our guest of honor, Honorable V. Ramasubramanian sir, my colleagues from other centers and from the Center of Tamil Studies, good morning, welcome. Today, we gathered here to celebrate the birth anniversary of Mahakavi Bharathiyar, a towering figure in Tamil literature and a pioneer of the Indian freedom struggle. We also commemorate Indian Languages Day, honoring the rich linguistic diversity and cultural heritage of our nation. Bharathiyar's poetry and writings continue to inspire generations with their passion, creativity, and vision. His contribution to the Tamil literature is invaluable, and his legacy serves as a beacon for writers, artists, and freedom fighters. India's linguistic diversity is a strength, and our languages are an integral part of identity. Let's celebrate the beauty and richness of our languages, from Tamil to Hindi, Bengali to Telugu, and many, many more. As we honor Mahakavi Bharathiyar and Indian Languages Day today, let's reaffirm our commitment to preserving and promoting our linguistic heritage. May his poetry and legacy continue to inspire us to strive for a more just, equitable, and culturally rich society. Thank you. I will not be too long away from hearing our chief guest. Thank you once again. Thank you.
There's no mic.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I cordially invite Honorable V. Ramasubramanian sir, Chairperson, National Human Rights Commission of India, to deliver a keynote address. Sir, now the stage is yours.
மரியாதைக்குரிய ஜவஹர்லால் நேரு பல்கலைக்கழகத்தின் துணைவேந்தர் அவர்களே, பேராசிரியர் தாமோதரன் என்கிற அரவிந்தன் அவர்களே, பேராசிரியர் சோபா சிவசங்கரன் அவர்களே, பேராசிரியர் சந்திரசேகரன் அவர்களே, மதிப்பிற்குரிய பேராசிரியர்களே, மாணாக்கர்களே, எத்தனை பேருக்கு தமிழ் தெரியாது? How many people? How many of you do not know Tamil?
Please switch off your mobile phones.
How many of you cannot understand Tamil? Only one person. How?
Hey, you can understand. You also read that. You don't understand. He's the voice of it.
No, he didn't understand the question. So, three of you do not understand Tamil, correct? Yes, sir. Okay. Exactly. Wherever it is necessary for me to make you understand, I will speak in English. Where I think it may not be so important, I will switch over to Tamil. Okay, it's a very, very arduous task to speak about Subramania Bharati in English, because he is a poet who inspired passion in every human being with his powerful choice of words. Subramania Bharatiயை நினைத்தாலே சுதந்திரத்தின் ஆவேசம் சுருக்கென்றேறும். The moment you think of Subramania Bharati, the fire of freedom will start running in your blood. Therefore, to convey with equal power his words in English may be a little difficult for anybody other than Subramania Bharati himself. Because Subramania Bharati was a polymath and a polyglot. He was very well versed in many things, and he was very well versed in at least 7 languages. After studying in depth 7 languages, he declared, Yamarinda Modigalile Tamil Modipol Indavan Ennum Kaanum. He said, I have not seen a better language than Tamil after carefully studying all many languages. This is what he declared. So I am happy to be here for a second time. I think December 2023 I came there to deliver a lecture on Bharati, and I am here for a second time. Your Vice Chancellor, Professor Shanti Shri, talked about our college days. Machiavelli said, if you reach a position of power, please be careful about people who know your past. So I think that is true for me as well as for Professor Shanti Shri. So both of us will have to be guarded against each other. In fact, when she was a student of Presidency College Madras, I was a student of the Law College. Our friendship goes back to 1981. Both of us lived in the same area, Mandavali. I used to know his father, D. Anjaneyulu, who used to write for the Hindu with the name D.A. We never knew that both of us will land up at different places in different positions. So this is how I think there is a cosmic connection. I am a believer in God. I don't know how many of you are believers in God. Many people who are non-believers become believers after seeing India. This country could not have survived but for God. So we don't know the connections. 1981-83, we were friends. Then we lost touch with each other after 1984. Suddenly, when I landed up here in 2023, Professor Aravind said, my Vice Chancellor knows you. I said, I didn't know. Then he told me that she was from Gujarat. And I saw, wow, Shanti Shri is here. So after 40 years, he suddenly meets me as a retired judge of the Supreme Court and she as the Vice Chancellor of the University. It's a good feeling to meet old friends in different positions of power. So I am extremely happy to be here. Bharathiyarai பொறுத்தளவில், a man who lived only for 39 years, but the fire in him, நாமெல்லாம் இறை நம்பிக்கையாளர்கள் கடவுளிடம் போய் பிரார்த்தனை செய்கிற போது நாம் பல விஷயங்களை கேட்கிறோம். When we all pray to God, we ask for different things. Do you know what Bharati asked? நல்லதோர் வீணை செய்தே அதை நலங்கெட புழுதியில் எரிவதுண்டோ, சொல்லடி சிவசக்தி என்னை சுடர் மிகும் அறிவுடன் படைத்து விட்டாய், வல்லமை தாராயோ இந்த மாநிலம் பயனுற வாழ்வதற்கு. சொல்லடி சிவசக்தி நில சுமையன வாழ்ந்திட புரிகுவையோ, விசையுறு பந்தினை போல் உள்ளம் வேண்டியபடி செல்லும் உடல் கேட்டேன், நசையது மனம் கேட்டேன், நித்தம் நவமென சுடர்தரும் உயிர் கேட்டேன், தசையினை தீ சுடினும் சிவசக்தியை பாடும் நல்லகம் கேட்டேன், அசைவது மதி கேட்டேன், இவை அருள்வதில் உனக்கெதும் தடைபடலோ என்று கேட்டான். யாஸ் சக்தி, the Kali, the goddess, the symbol of women's power. Oh goddess, you have created me with a lot of talent, with so much of enthusiasm. Therefore, give me that power by which I can do wonders in this world for the benefit of the community at large. He never asked anything for himself. The only time he asked something for himself in Kali was when there was no money at home. When the child was ill, he went to Kali and said, you better take care of my family, O Kali, otherwise I will become a non-believer. He threatened Kali. அவனிடம் போய் நான் நாத்திகனாகிவிடுவேன் என்று பயமுறுத்திய ஒரே கவிஞர் பாரதி. In fact, in a period of 39 years, the genre of literature he produced about 30 epic poems, 3 epic poems. He wrote a huge number of patriotic songs. He was a journalist. He was an editor of 2 Tamil newspapers and weeklies and also an English newspaper. He assisted Aravindo in editing Karmayogi, created by Aravindo. Apart from the 3 epic poems, he composed 40 songs of patriotic and nationalistic fervor. He composed poems on leaders like Gandhi, Dadabhai Naoroji, Tilak, Lajapati Rai, Guru Gobind, and Vauchdam Pillai. He composed poems on Russian Revolution. Look at the paradox. 1917, when the Russian Revolution took place, on the basis of Marxian philosophy, it was Marx who said religion is an opium. But you know what Bharati said? When hailing Russian Revolution, he said, Mahakavi Bharathiyar kadaikal vaithal, ஆகாயம் எழுந்தது பாருங்க புரட்சி. It was my mother goddess Kali's blessing that the revolution of Russia was born, which was born on the basis of Marxian philosophy that religion is an opium. He had nothing to eat. You hate it, but in the name of goddess Kali. He composed about 78 prayer songs, 11 miscellaneous songs. And to my knowledge, Bharatiyar is the only poet who wrote his autobiography in poetic form. I do not know how many poets of the world have written autobiographies in poetic form. He wrote it by Bharati Suyasarithai, Bharati Aruvattal. He looked at life when he wrote his autobiography. He looked at life from a completely different philosophical perspective. All of us, when we write books, we give an introduction, we ask somebody to write a preface. Bharati did not ask anybody to write a preface. He quoted 2 sentences from Tayumanava's poem as the preface to his biography, as a foreword to his autobiography. You know what those 2 lines are? Uyyai, Padan Kadayai, Kanavai, Vellappoladhive. How did my life pass? When he wrote his autobiography in poetic form, he must have been about 37-38. He looked at his past and said, when what Tayumanavar said, Uyyai, Padan Kadayai, Kanavai, Vellappoladhive. My life passed like a dream, like a lie, like an old story. That's what Tayumanavar said. And from that he picked up and said, வாழ்வு முற்றும் கனவென கூறிய மறைவலோர் தம் முறை பொய் என்று காள். உலகமெல்லாம் ஓர் பெருங்கனவு. The whole world is a dream. உலகமெல்லாம் ஓர் பெருங்கனவு. அக்குளே உண்டு உறங்கி இடர் செய்து செத்திடும் கலக மானிட பூச்சிகள் வாழ்க்கை ஓர் கனவிலும் கனவாகும். The whole world is a dream. The lives that we live are nothing but dreams within a dream. கலக மானிட பூச்சிகள் வாழ்க்கை ஓர் கனவிலும் கனவாகும். This is how he wrote his autobiography. And at the time when Bharati died, there were hardly 11 people who had assembled to pay respects because of fear of the British government in 1920. Whenever I read Bharati's life and poetry, I just think of how Khalil Gibran wrote a poem called A Poet's Death is His Life. Khalil Gibran wrote, A poet's life is his death. And look at the similarities. Khalil Gibran had no opportunity to know Bharathiyar's life. Do you know what he wrote? A poet was lying on deathbed. This is how Khalil Gibran's poem begins. The dark wings of night enfolded the city upon which nature had spread a pure white garment of snow. And men deserted the streets for their houses in search of warmth, while the north wind probed in contemplation of laying waste the gardens. He was a poet perishing from hunger. Khalil Gibran did not know the financial conditions of Bharatiyar, but he was writing. He was a poet perishing from hunger in the city of living rich. He was placed in the earthly world to enliven the heart of man with his beautiful and profound sayings. He, as noble soul, sent by the goddess of understanding to soothe and make gentle the human spirit. But alas, he gladly bade the cold earth farewell without receiving a smile from its strange occupants. He was breathing his last and had no one at his bedside save the oil lamp, his only companion, and some parchments upon which he had inscribed his heart's feeling. Then this poet embraces his death. That's what Khalil Gibran writes. Then what happens? Hundreds of years later, Khalil Gibran closes the poem like this. Hundreds of years later, when the people of the city arose from the diseases of slumber and ignorance and saw the dawn of knowledge, they erected a monument in the beautiful garden of the city and celebrated a feast every year in honor of the poet whose writings had freed them. Oh, how cruel is man's ignorance. This is how Khalil Gibran closed his poem, and he titled this poem as A Poet's Death is His Life. This exactly describes what Bharatiyar's life and death signify to us when he died. A person unwept, unsung hero. His Kannan Pattu, imagining Lord Krishna to be his sweetheart, to be his lover, to be his child, to be his family deity, to be his servant, was remarkable for its poetic beauty. His Panchali Sabadam, the way he wrote, Panchali Sabadam, I don't think it can be translated into English with the same power of the words that he conveyed. When Pancha Draupadi is brought to the Sabha and she was disrobed, the way Bharati springs out of his anger, words spoon out of his mouth, remarkable. ஆடை குலைவிட்டு நிற்கிறாள் என்று ஆவல் அலறி துடிக்கிறாள். வெறும் மாடு நிகழ்த்தது சாதனன் அவள் வைக்குழல் பற்றி இழுக்கிறாள். இந்த பீடையை நோக்கினன் பீமனும் கரை மீறி எழுந்தது வெஞ்சினம். துயர் கூடி தர்மனை நோக்கியே அவன் கூறிய வார்த்தைகள் கேட்டீரோ. சூதர் மனைகளிலே அன்னே தொண்டு மகளிர் உண்டு. சூதிர் பணையவென்றே அங்கோ தொண்டச்சி போவதில்லை. யாது கருதி வைத்தாய் அன்னே யாரை பணையம் வைத்தாய். துருபதன் மகளை திட்ட தீமன் உடன்பிறப்பை இரு பகடை என்றாய். ஐயோ இவருக்கு அடிமை இது பொறுப்பதில்லை தம்பி எரிதழல் கொண்டு வா என்றார். அதிரை வைத்திருந்தான் அண்ணன் கையை எரித்திடுவோம். பொங்கி எழுதுகிறான் பாரதி. As if he was living at that time, but he was a witness to what was happening in Kaurava Sabha. He was the first man. Bharatiyar was the first Tamil literature to introduce Vasana Kavide into Suluguruke Nama, poem in prose form. I think that is poem in prose form, Vasana Kavide. Bharatiyar Vasana Kavidegal சொல்லுகிற உபனிஷத கருத்துக்களை இன்றைக்கு யாரும் no one can touch. தன்னுடைய பாரதி 66 பாரதி சொல்லுகிறான், இந்த உலகத்தில் தோன்றிய அனைவரும் மறைந்தார்கள், பார்ப்புகழும் இயேசுவே சிலுவையில் மாண்டார். Adishankara was born, he died. Ramanuja died. Jesus died on the cross. Muhammad Nabi died. இந்த உலகத்தில் பிறந்த அனைவரும் இறந்து போனார்கள். ஆனால் நான் இறக்க மாட்டேன். பாரதி சொன்னான், I will not die. Even God incarnations died, but I will not die. How would you not die? Bharati gave a simple formula. அச்சத்தை வெட்கைதனை அழித்து விட்டால் அப்போது சாவும் அங்கே அழிந்து போகும். If you can kill, if a person is capable of killing his desire and fear, he will never have death. All of us die every day because of fear and desire. அச்சத்தை வெட்கைதனை அழித்து விட்டால் அப்போது சாவும் அங்கே அழிந்து போகும். மிச்சத்தை பின் சொல்வேன் கேளீர் என்றார். I will tell you the remaining portion later, because first you practice fearlessness. Because fearlessness arises only out of desirelessness. That is why Bharati said, எனக்கு முன்னே சித்தர் பலர் இருந்தாரப்பா, நானும் ஒரு சித்தன் இந்த நாட்டிலே வந்தேன் என்று சொன்னார். His writings in English, remarkable. He was not only he was the only person, probably the first person who was a reader of Tamil magazines and English newspapers. He was very fluent even in English. One of his short stories, The Fox with the Golden Tail. You must read that Fox with Golden Tail. It criticizes how, even in those days, spiritual fraudsters were taking the society for a ride. I will read out a portion, very interesting portion. He says, it is, so to speak, forced on me by the importunity of some local friends, whom the spirit of the age impels to do something towards knocking down what has been aptly described the most colossal spiritual fraud of the ages. It was a veiled attack on Annie Besant and the Theosophical Society. Of course, Annie Besant was right in her own way. But during those days, there was severe criticism of Annie Besant by people who did not want to follow the middle path. People who did not want to follow Gandhian path, but who wanted to follow the path of Tilaka. They attacked Annie Besant, and Bharati makes use of this opportunity while writing Fox with the golden tail, to attack, saying as the most colossal spiritual fraud of the ages. It is admitted on all hands that the ancient Hindus have scaled the extreme heights of spiritual realization. But I think, however, that the Hindus of the last generation, especially the English educated men, have been the biggest guilty of any age or country. And we of the present generation are resolved that the swindlers shall no longer pursue their trades peacefully in our country. And this is the esoteric meaning of the fable. That is what he wrote about this fox with a golden tail. Not only was he a poet, as I told you, he was a journalist. He wrote articles. He wrote editorials in newspapers. He wrote a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, and he wrote the translation of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. After writing the commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, Bharathiyar summarized in 3 sentences what is yoga, what is yajna, what is jnana. யோகம் என்பது என்ன, யாகம் என்பது என்ன, ஞானம் என்பது என்ன, இதை பகவத்கீதையை மொழிபெயர்த்த பிறகு பாரதி 3 வரிகளிலே சொன்னார். எது யோகம்? ஊருக்கு உழைத்திடல் யோகம். Working for the society is yoga. நலம் ஓங்கிடுமாறு வருந்துதல் யாகம். suffering on behalf of society is yajna. Alright, yoga is working for the society. To undergo suffering for humanity is yajna. Then what is jnana? Bharati said, போருக்கு நின்றிடும் போதும் உள்ளம் பொங்கல் இல்லாத அமைதி மெய்ஞானம். When you stand in a battlefield, when missiles are being fired, if you can maintain your equanimity, if you can maintain your poise, and that is jnana, wisdom, he said. We are not able to maintain equanimity at home. Where is the question of maintaining equality in a battlefield? போருக்கு நின்றிடும் போதும் உள்ளம் பொங்கல் இல்லாத அமைதி மெய்ஞானம். பாரதி சொன்னார். இந்த உலகத்துல யார் புண்ணியம் செய்தவர்? Merit and sin. Who gains merit? Who incurs sin? ஒரே வரியிலே பாரதி புண்ணியம் செய்தவரை பற்றி சொன்னால், பக்கத்திருப்பவர் துன்பம் தன்னை பார்க்க பொறாதவன் புண்ணிய மூர்த்தி. A person who is unable to see the suffering of his neighbor, he is the person who is really meritorious. That is the definition Bharati gave. You can keep on talking about Bharati. The wonder that he committed, 10 years of his association with Aurobindo in Pondicherry. He is attending the first Indian National Congress in 1904. When he attended the second Indian National Congress in 1907, he supports Tilakar as against Dadabhai Naoroji. He gets attracted towards Tilakar. On his return journey, he meets Sister Nivedita. It was Sister Nivedita whom he started adoring as his guru. Bharati would not accept anybody as a guru. He was so independent, fearlessly independent, fiercely independent. He would not accept anybody as his guru, but he accepts Sister Nivedita as his guru. And it was Nivedita who changed Bharati's perception about women's empowerment. So Vice Chancellor Shanti spoke about two things, about his condemnation of caste and the empowerment of women. Bharati's poems took a different turn towards the empowerment of women only after meeting Sister Nivedita. பட்டங்கள் ஆள்வதும் சட்டங்கள் செய்வதும் பாரினில் பெண்கள் நடத்த வந்தோம். எட்டும் அறிவில் ஆணுக்கு பெண் இங்கே இணைப்பில்லை கால். பட்டங்கள் ஆள்வதும் சட்டங்கள் செய்வதும் பாரினில் பெண்கள் நடத்த வந்தோம். Women will start ruling education institutions. This is what he said. எட்டும் அறிவினில் ஆணுக்கு பெண் இங்கே இணைப்பில்லை கால். He was the first man, Bharati was the first person to give a definition of chastity. He said, கற்பு நிலை என்று சொல்ல வந்தால் இரு கட்சிக்கு மகன் பொதுவில் வைப்போம். Chastity is not a virtue for a woman alone. Chastity should be a virtue for men also. Bharati said. On caste, I do not think anybody of his times or anybody of even today's times can condemn caste system, the discrimination practiced by the old Shastric dictates. Anybody can condemn as Bharati can do. Bharati said, Suthiranuppor needi, Danda chorunnum kaattukku veror needi. Sathiram sollidumayin, அது சாத்திரம் அன்று சதி என்று கண்டோம். It is a conspiracy to divide caste on this basis. This is what Bharati said. In fact, when he was in Pondicherry, he closely interacted with Aurobindo. And when Aurobindo ran this Karma Yogi magazine, Bharati assisted him. But with Aurobindo, he did not agree on everything. When people fell at the feet of Aurobindo taking him as guru, Bharati used to take exception. How can one man fall at the feet of another? This is the question Bharati used to ask. And the kind of adoration that Aurobindo had for Bharati was extraordinary, beyond comprehension. I will just wind up by quoting one letter which I quoted given on the last occasion, and I don't fail to quote on every occasion. Once when Aurobindo was running out of money, he writes to a doctor by name Dr. Roy for monetary help. The letter makes a very interesting reading. Aurobindo writes, "Dear Dr. Roy, please procure from God power or any other power under earth or heaven a sum of rupees 50. I am now left with a balance of 1 rupee 50 paise." Who writes? Aurobindo. "I am now left with a balance of 1 rupee 50 paise. I know God will provide, but of late, God has cultivated the bad habit of waiting till the last minute." The pinnacle of the letter comes. The next sentence is the pinnacle. Next sentence he says, I only hope that God does not want me to live on negative quantity of money like Subramanya Bharati. In the Kadidathil or Vedikai, I have been able to translate the entire this letter in Tamil except the last sentence. I know God will provide. Kadavul koduppaar என்று எனக்கு தெரியும். Of late, God has cultivated the bad habit of waiting till the last minute. கடைசி நேரம் வரை காத்திருக்க வைத்து கழுத்தறுப்பது என்பதே கடவுளுடைய பணியாகிவிட்டது எனக்கு தெரியும். Next sentence, I don't know how to translate. I hope that God does not want me to live on negative quantity of money like Subramanya Bharati. Negative quantity of money. பேராசை அரவிந்தன் சொல்ல வேண்டிய எப்படி எதிர்மறை பொருள் சொல்ல முடியாது. How do you translate? A person can live on negative quantity of money. A person who was penniless. See, all of us, we are all holding a job. We are all holding a position. We are reasonably well off in life. But when somebody asks you, are you happy? We hesitate to say whether we are happy or not. How many of you say you are happy? Even if we are happy, we will not tell others. Because the moment we tell others, the others will lose their happiness. Therefore, we hesitate to tell people that they are happy. Bharati, without a penny, without anything in life to be happy, Bharati said, எத்தனை கோடி இன்பம் வைத்தாய் இறைவா எங்கள் இறைவா. How much of pleasure can you get for us to enjoy, O God? சித்தினை சித்துடன் இணைத்தாய், அங்கு சேரும் ஐம்பூதத்து வியனுடன் அமைத்தாய், முக்தியொன்று நிலைப்படைத்தாய், அங்கு முழுதினை உணர்வு அமைத்தாய், எத்தனை கோடி இன்பம் வைத்தாய். That a person can live happily without all the parameters that we have formed for ourselves today was demonstrated by Bharati. Therefore, he was a true poet, a true writer, a revolutionary writer, a man who lived up to his words. That is more important. All of us go to stage and preach for others, but not practice ourselves. Bharati is a person who practiced it. For the first time in Tamil literature, Bharati introduced new vocabulary. Soul puridu, porul puridu, suvai puridu. I will give you poetry where vocabulary will be new, where meaning will be new, where your experience will be new. Suvai puridu, suvai mikka navakavidai, innaalum adiyada mahakavidai. I will give you poetry which will never die. A person can, a person's self-confidence. He said, I will give you poems whose vocabulary will be new, whose meaning, interpretation will be new, which will give you a new experience and which will never die. And that became true after his death. That is the greatness of Bharati. And that is why we are here to celebrate his birth anniversary after such a long time. In these few words, I thank Professor Ravindran and Professor Shantashri for the wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful speech about Mahakavi Bharathiyar. I would like to invite Dr. N. Chandrasekharan, Assistant Professor, Special Center for Tamil Studies, JNU, to take the vote of thanks.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Good morning to everyone. Thanks for the given opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of our Special Center for Tamil Studies. We do express our heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Amma, for the valuable and kind appreciative presidential address. Right from the inception of our center, Vice Chancellor Amma is nurturing our center with special care, providing sustainable support. This annual event of Mahakavi Bharathiyar birthday and Indian Languages Day is also being initiated and overseen by VC Amma. Mikka Nandri Amma. On behalf of our university and our Vice Chancellor Amma and our Special Center for Tamil Studies, we do express and extend our heartfelt gratitude to today's distinguished special guest, Honorable Justice Ramasubramanian, Chairperson of National Human Rights Commission of India. Sir, through your keynote address on and off Bharati, today we are very much delighted and enlightened. It paves way for us to re-approach on and off Bharati. It was a thought-provoking, insightful, and enriched this event with Kanandiya. We do extend our heartfelt thanks to Professor Sova Shivshankaran, Dean, School of Language, Literature, and Cultural Studies. As usual gesture, presented a warm felicitation in this winter event. Whatever program we conduct, Professor Sova used to participate without fail. Thank you, ma'am. We do extend our heartfelt thanks to deans of various schools, chairpersons of various centers, and faculties of centers. Also, we have some guests from outside. All of you have witnessed this event, and as an artist gathering, அனைவருக்கும் மிக்க நன்றி. Our scholars and students who formed in groups willingly roped in this function and made this event grand success. I, along with my chairperson, Professor Ramavaran, appreciate with thank them. Finally, once again, thank you one and all. அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
It's time to conclude the program. I request you all to stand up for national.
शुभ नामे जागे, जब शुभ आशीष
பாரதியார் கூட
I try to request you all to have